we bring to you the episode you've been waiting for. Thank you for staying tuned. In the last episode, after the chaos and the invasion of the house, Naomi was about to reveal the truth to Elijah. But the question remains. Is Naomi really the person they thought she was? Or is Elijah and his father hiding a plan far different from what they told Naomi? You're about to find out as we continue the story from where we left off. Sit back, relax, and keep your fingers crossed. Subscribe to our channel, Mirror Wealth Stories, for more powerful and captivating stories. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on your notification bell so you won't miss any of our episodes. The night everything changed, the power went out. The mansion went dark. Security alarms blared. Naomi ran into the hallway, straight into Elijah's arms. For a moment, there was no billionaire, no deal, no cameras. Just two people breathing in the dark. "I can't lose you," Elijah whispered before he could stop himself. Naomi froze. "That's not part of the agreement," she said softly. Elijah pulled back, realizing what he'd said. But it was too late. Because she felt it too. And love, real love, was the most dangerous lie of all. The power outage was not an accident. Naomi realized it the moment she heard glass shatter downstairs. Elijah reacted instantly. "Stay behind me," he ordered. Security lights snapped on outside the mansion, flooding the grounds in harsh white beams. Footsteps echoed. Shouts followed. Then a gunshot rang out. Naomi screamed. Elijah wrapped his arms around her and pulled her to the floor as bullets hit the marble wall behind them. Security swarmed in within seconds. The sound of chaos filled the mansion, radios crackling, boots pounding, commands shouted. Minutes later, it was over. One intruder lay bleeding on the lawn. Another escaped. Naomi sat shaking, her head pressed against Elijah's chest. "They weren't trying to scare me," she whispered. "They were trying to kill me." Elijah's jaw clenched. "Yes," he said. "Because you're no longer just pretending." When Isaiah arrived, his face was calm, but his eyes were furious. "They crossed the line," he said. Naomi looked up at him. "No," she replied. "You did. When you dragged me into this." Isaiah studied her for a long moment. Then he said something that chilled her. "You survived," he said quietly. "That means you're stronger than I thought." After the attack, Naomi was moved into Elijah's private wing. "No more pretending distance," Isaiah ordered. "Appearances matter." That night, Naomi couldn't hold it in anymore. "Elijah," she said, sitting on the edge of the bed, "there's something you don't know about me." He looked at her carefully. "Then tell me." She took a deep breath. "I didn't grow up normal," she began. "My mother worked for a powerful family in Chicago. Not just rich, dangerous rich." Elijah listened silently. "One night," Naomi continued, "she overheard something she wasn't supposed to. Money laundering, political bribery, human trafficking." Elijah's eyes darkened. "They killed her," Naomi whispered. "Made it look like an accident." She swallowed hard. "I changed my name. Disappeared. I learned how to stay invisible." Elijah exhaled slowly. "And now," he said, "you're engaged to one of the most powerful men in America." Naomi laughed bitterly. "Ironic, right?" Elijah reached for her hand. "You're not invisible anymore," he said. "But you're not alone either." Isaiah Montgomery had never planned to involve Naomi emotionally. But after the assassination attempt, he told the truth. "There's a faction inside my empire," Isaiah admitted to Elijah and Naomi. "Board members, investors, politicians." Naomi stiffened. "They want you gone," Isaiah said to Elijah. "And they wanted to see how far I'd go to protect the image of stability." Naomi understood immediately. "I was a test," she said. Isaiah nodded once. "Yes." Elijah slammed his fist on the table. "You used her as armor." Isaiah didn't deny it. But now, he added, they believe she matters to you. That makes her powerful. Naomi stared at him in disbelief. So what happens to me? She asked. Isaiah looked her in the eye. You become untouchable, he said. Or you become a target forever. The room fell silent. Naomi realized something then. Walking away was no longer an option. The world watched them closely after the attack. Public appearances doubled. Charity events increased. Smiles were required. But behind closed doors, something real grew. Elijah cooked for her one night, awkwardly. I don't do normal things, he admitted. Naomi smiled softly. You're doing fine. They talked until dawn. About dreams. About fear. About what they would have been without money and danger. Elijah brushed her fingers accidentally, and didn't pull away. Naomi, he said quietly, this started as a lie. She met his gaze. But now? She asked. Elijah leaned in, hesitating only once. Then he kissed her. It wasn't for cameras. It wasn't for power. It was real. The next morning, Isaiah received a message. Board vote scheduled. Emergency session. He knew what it meant. They were moving against Elijah. Isaiah summoned Naomi privately. If you leave now, he said, I can erase you, protect you, pay you. Naomi shook her head. And Elijah? She asked. Isaiah hesitated. He survives, he said. But he loses everything. Naomi's chest tightened. She had escaped danger her whole life by running. This time, she stayed. I choose him, she said simply. Isaiah closed his eyes. Then, he said quietly, welcome to war. The Montgomery Global Boardroom sat 40 floors above Atlanta, wrapped in glass and silence. From the outside, it looked peaceful. Inside, it felt like a courtroom where the verdict had already been decided. Elijah entered with Naomi by his side. Conversations stopped. Men in tailored suits stared. Women with polished smiles watched closely. Power shifted in quiet ways, raised eyebrows, folded arms, subtle nods. Vanessa King sat at the far end of the table, calm and confident. This meeting was not scheduled for guests, she said smoothly. Naomi felt the tension immediately. I'm not a guest, she replied. I'm family. A ripple of murmurs moved through the room. Isaiah took his seat at the head of the table. Proceed, he said. Vanessa stood. We're here to address instability, she said. Public threats. A fake engagement. A woman with no verified background. Her eyes cut to Naomi. Naomi's heart pounded, but she didn't flinch. If this company falls, Vanessa continued, it will be because sentiment replaced strategy. Elijah rose. This ends now. But the votes were already counted. The board moved to suspend Elijah's control. And Naomi realized. This was the moment she was meant to break. Naomi stepped forward before Elijah could speak again. You're right, she said calmly. Every eye turned to her. I wasn't born into wealth. I didn't grow up protected. I didn't have a last name that opened doors. Vanessa smiled, thinking she had one. But, Naomi continued, I know something you don't. She placed a flash drive on the table. This contains records, Naomi said, of offshore accounts, shell companies, and political payoffs, connected to several people in this room. The silence was suffocating. Vanessa's smile disappeared. My mother died because of secrets like these, Naomi added quietly. And I learned to never walk into a lion's den unarmed. Isaiah looked at her with something close to awe. Security stepped forward. Vanessa stood abruptly. This is illegal. Naomi met her gaze. So was everything you hid. By afternoon, the headlines exploded. Montgomery board members under federal investigation. Vanessa King steps down amid scandal. Vanessa was escorted out of the building in silence. As she passed Naomi, she hissed, You don't belong here. Naomi replied softly. Neither did you. Elijah found Naomi later on the rooftop helipad. You didn't have to do that, he said. Yes, she replied. I did. He pulled her into his arms. For the first time since this began, Naomi felt something close to safety. That evening, Isaiah called Naomi into his private office. You won, he said. Naomi shook her head. We won. Isaiah studied her carefully. My empire is stable again, he said. And so is my son. He slid a new document across the desk. No contracts, he said. No conditions. Naomi read the first line. Engagement voided, NDA terminated, full protection granted. Isaiah leaned back. You're free, he said. You always were. I just needed to see if you'd choose power or people. Naomi met his gaze. I choose truth, she said. Isaiah smiled faintly. Then, he said, you're more Montgomery than most. The engagement announcement came again, but this time it wasn't planned. Elijah stood beside Naomi at a quiet charity event, no cameras invited. I lied once, he said into the microphone. I won't do it again. He turned to Naomi. I don't need an arrangement, he said. I need you. Naomi's eyes filled with tears. She nodded. Yes, she whispered. The room erupted in applause. But more importantly, they believed it. The subpoena arrived at dawn. Federal agents. Media vans. Flashing lights outside the Montgomery estate. Naomi stood still as the headlines rolled in real time. Witness with ties to deadly scandal connected to Montgomery Global. Her past, hidden for years, had finally caught up. They're coming for you, Elijah said quietly. Naomi nodded. I know. For the first time since this began, she wasn't afraid. They think exposing me will scare me away from you, she added. Elijah took her hands. And will it? Naomi looked straight into his eyes. No, she said. It will finish this. The courtroom was packed. Politicians, investors, former allies, and enemies pretending to be neutral. Naomi took the stand. Every breath echoed. My mother was murdered, she testified calmly, because she heard the wrong conversation. Gasps filled the room. Naomi didn't cry. She didn't shake. She told everything, how she disappeared, how she survived, how powerful people erased lives without consequence. And yes, she said, turning toward the gallery, I agreed to pretend to be Elijah Montgomery's fiancée. Murmurs erupted. But I did not pretend to stand up for truth. Elijah watched her with pride. Isaiah sat silently, knowing this moment would define his legacy forever. Vanessa King tried one final move. A leaked audio. A distorted recording. The media rushed to judgment. Until Naomi revealed the final evidence. A time-stamped file. Unedited. Clear. Vanessa's voice. Confessing. The courtroom went silent. Then chaos followed. Arrests. Resignations. Warrants issued. Vanessa was led away in handcuffs. As she passed Naomi, she said nothing. She didn't need to. She had lost. Weeks later, Isaiah announced his retirement. At a quiet press conference, he said only one sentence. My son will lead this company with integrity, or not at all. Then he stepped back. Father and son stood together afterward. I built walls, Isaiah admitted. You built bridges. Elijah nodded. Because I learned from watching you. Isaiah smiled. And for the first time, it wasn't about power. It was about peace. Naomi rejected the settlement offers. She rejected the hush money. She accepted one thing only. A foundation. The Carter Justice Initiative. To protect whistleblowers. To fund legal defense for the voiceless. You could have walked away rich, a reporter asked. Naomi smiled calmly. I already am, she replied. There was no grand wedding announcement. No staged proposal. Just a quiet moment on the terrace of their new home overlooking the city. Elijah knelt anyway. Not for the cameras. For us, he said. Naomi laughed softly through tears. Yes, she whispered. This time, there were no contracts, no lies, no expiration date. Years later, Naomi attended another billionaire gala. Different city, different room. A young woman stood nervously near the wall. Naomi approached her and whispered gently, "You don't need to sell yourself to survive." The woman looked up, startled. Naomi smiled, because she remembered the night everything changed, when a whisper tried to buy her silence. And instead,